And the regional minister offered some assurances, but in effect, they have asked the regional minister to put some concrete things on paper, which he has agreed to do. And they have also decided to take back what the regional minister has assured them to their membership, because it was mostly the leadership of the groupings that we met. And they are slated to have meetings subsequently after the meeting with the Regional Security Council. And they will come up with a response to whether they are rescinding their decision to embark on a strike or they are continuing with it. So as it stands now, we'll wait till the doctors union, the nurses and midwives union, the medical lab scientists union, the pharmacists all have their meetings with their membership and discuss with them what the RECSEC they are going to assure them they will going to fulfill the demands they put in their strike letters.
Right, Ilyasu, let me ask you this. From what the guy said, the PRO, does that mean that the meeting that was held today concluded at nothing?
Yes, exactly. Like I said earlier on, the staff are saying that they want the minister to secure the assurance from the IGP. And so it means that the minister would have to go and secure a letter from the IGP confirming the establishment of a security post at the facility. We are told that the staff union would have a meeting at somewhere 1 p.m. this afternoon. And in that particular meeting, the outcome of that particular meeting will decide whether they are going ahead with this particular strike or ending that particular strike. But as we speak, the emergency meeting that they held with the regional minister and the delegation, the Security Council delegation, did not end well. As we speak, they are still insisting that they need a memorandum of understanding, a written one, of course, between the Regional Coordinating Council, the Regional Security Council, and the managers of the hospital before they will decide whether to go back or whether to pick up their tools and start working. But as we speak now, there have not been any decision as to whether they are ending the strike or not.
Ilya, so let's move away from those people and talk about the state of the stranded patients. How are they faring?
The hospital is very calm. It appears that the message has gone out well, and so there are no new patients arriving. Earlier on in the morning, dozens of them came and they were turned away, including little children and pregnant women. As we speak, the hospital are saying that they are not receiving any new cases again. They are committed to treating those that are already at the facility. And so that is the situation now. People are being turned away. And it means that emergency cases, in fact, every cases at the facility is now at standstill. The doctors, the nurses, the midwives, they are not responding to any new cases again. Earlier on, the door to the emergency ward was shut. I went there myself. They were not able to allow in because they said that the hospital is no more receiving any new patients again. So as we speak, the situation is very, very desperate.
All right, thank you very much. Ilyasu Tanko is our Northern Regional Correspondent. We'll bring you details as they unfold. Away from that, health facilities in the Setra East District in the Ashanti region have recorded no maternal death between January 2017 and June 2018. A district which used to face challenges of maternal and child health, including malnutrition, has a different story now. Here's a report by Alice Aite.
Maternal mortality has for many years remained a huge challenge for stakeholders in the health sector. The external issue sometimes is the myths surrounding childbearing, especially in underdeveloped communities in Ghana. The health of most pregnant women was in jeopardy as lifestyle was entangled with obsolete cultural practices, which has varying health implications. The reason World Vision officials and other health workers intervened to change the narrative.
The first na me wo ententem me wo me benyam fieminu na masawo nachi ya wo foforo no a first me nsuo yellow bi efrimu ba ne yese enye eyefin entini en fama nkola ne yeyi yehwie no etugu sa ne ye ma ye nkwala na pomudin no mom na ye etugu no eno mom ya pomudin a eboa nkwala no ebie wo madwenim.
With a population of more than 70,000, but with limited health resources, the Serwaa East District has managed to overcome challenges associated with maternal health. Statistics from the District Health Directorate indicates that in 2015, the district recorded 5 deaths out of a total skilled delivery of 1,861. In 2016, the deaths reduced to only 2 out of 2,044 deliveries. The district has since 2017 until date recorded no deaths through continuous education of the women through mother-to-mother support groups created by World Vision.
Malnutrition is also their focus in terms of giving health services. And if a child is born, or even the child being in the womb from day one, the nutritional status of that fetus before coming up is very, very important. And so we are taking care of pregnant women in terms of all the supplements that is needed. And they are giving us some supplements, iron supplements, dewormers, and all those which militate against a child being healthy.
Right, the Governing Council of the University of Education, Winneba, has dismissed 5 principal officers of the institution following an emergency meeting on Monday. One other official has had her appointment terminated. The 5 are the Vice-Chancellor who was serving a suspension, Professor Mauto Avoke, Finance Officer Dr. Theophilus Senyo Akoli, Daniel Tete, Mary Jime and Frank Owusu Boateng. They were interdicted in July 2017 by the UEW Governing Council to allow for investigations after it emerged that some vital documents at some offices at the center of an ongoing investigation had gone missing. Subsequently, in January 2018, lawyers of the 5 wrote to the University Council demanding their immediate reinstatement. A Winneba High Court in 2017 ordered Professor Mauto Avoke to step aside until a case brought against him and the university's governing council is determined. The order was made in a case brought before the court by one Superintendent Kofi Kwaira, who insisted that the Vice-Chancellor and the Finance Officer were operating under the institution's defunct Governing Council. The plaintiff adduced that the university's council's mandate had expired in November 2013, but the Education Ministry failed to constitute a new Governing Council for the university and rather allowed and permitted the defunct Governing Council, which had no mandate whatsoever, to continue the functions of a properly constituted Governing Council, as if same had been properly constituted. Let's go over the phone lines and speak to the principal at the College of Languages at the university, Professor Avin. So for more on this, hello sir, thank you very much for joining us. So what do you make of the decision by the Governing Council?
Yeah, thank you very much for having me, and good afternoon to all your listeners. I must say I haven't cited any document officially in my college or in any official capacity on the sacking of those 6 officers. I'm however aware that there are some social media messages that are going around, and I've heard it on the news and commented on it on some other media stations. I'm also aware that a council meeting was held recently. So it's very possible, and I know those were on the agenda. So, speaking as somebody who is being interested in this case and who is directly affected by it as a lecturer in the university and not as a principal, I think it's very bad. If this decision holds, it's going to be a sad loss to the institution. And I think it's something that should have happened. And I hope that, and pray that somehow this decision will be reversed. But some On another dimension, I can say this is not news because this is the third time they have been sacked. So it's possible they will come again and they'll be sacked. So it goes to court, they sack them, they go and quash it, they go to court, And I'm aware that the case is pending at the Supreme Court currently. The case has been heard. It's supposed to be ruled in October, early October, I think the late October. And I'm also aware that in Cape Coast, the same case was pending. And the related case also at the Winneba High Court. So I expected that would have been a bit more circumspect in respect for rule of law and respect for the people who have worked for this institution and they spent so much of their time and have been treated, to the best of my knowledge, having lived here for the entire life of the university, from 1993 up to date as a lecturer and then now in this position. I think they have not been treated as criminals. That is what I don't actually agree. And I think we could have treated them better and given a hope. Because, for instance, I know the Vice Chancellor for a fact that he was one of the pioneers here. He has occupied every position within this university. He's a very modest and nice person, calm-spoken. I know him not to be a criminal. I know him not to be a reckless person. So I know something we could have dealt with this in a much better way. So the university could win and all of us could win.
Prof, you talk about dealing with it in a much better way. From where you sit, what would you have wanted done shortly?
What I would have wanted done is that as soon as this issue came up, the people concerned should have been engaged directly. But unfortunately, what we did was just to chase them around at the court, chase them with committees, and then make statements in the news media, publish things about them, and just treat them as criminals. People we didn't see them as such, and suddenly they are like that. And we could also be in the same. So that's the way I thought it would have been dealt with. And if at any stage, we thought that it was necessary to deal with them anyway, then we should allow due process to take its course and not interrupt it as you have interrupted.
All right.
I think that is my major problem about it. Okay. And whoever is involved in these things, I would still want to urge us all. We need to treat ourselves because people come, like I've been here, 25, 26 years. Spending all my life, my family, my children. My father is up north. All my other people are up north. And then I spend all my life here. And then if there's a problem, no, we are not sympathetic, we are not empathetic to deal with it. And it's all about just crucify him and deal with him. I think we didn't treat them well. And I think we could have done better.
All right. Thank you very much for talking to us. I'm afraid we'll have to leave the conversation here. Professor Avian So is a principal at the College of Languages at the University of Education. Now, away from that, there has been some confusion at the Hajj village as prospective pilgrims traveling to Saudi Arabia demanded answers from the Hajj board over delays in their flights. Now, the anxiety of prospective pilgrims continue to heighten as the airports in the two holy cities of Saudi Arabia, Makkah and Medina, are expected to be closed on Thursday, August 16, 2018, to any flights carrying prospective pilgrims from any part of the world. Hajj board has been accused of incompetence and lack of proper planning. The situation has since not been solved as the board could not charter a bigger aircraft to airlift the pilgrims to embark on the pilgrimage. Let's go live to the Hajj village where my colleague Joshua Amihere is monitoring the press conference that is being held to address some of the issues. Hello, Joshua.
Hello, Serwaa.
So what have they been saying? What excuse have they given you for which reason we are experiencing all of this? And I mean, this is not the first time. It looks as if every year we seem to have these challenges. Let's focus on this year. What have they been saying?
All right, so like you rightly mentioned, that every year there seems to be some challenges that beset the prospective programs here in Ghana, and it has to do with either passport issues or the numbers or the board, or talking of the Hajj board, not really not forthcoming with their response as to some of these challenges. But what the prospective programs are encountering this time around is no different from what has been happening previously. But currently, I can tell you that there are two different categories of persons here at the Hajj village. We are talking of those that are still waiting with bated breath for their visas, against those that are actually heaving a sigh of relief. As you can see behind me, the mariaba, those with the blue cape on their head, or the hijab blue, we call them the mariaba. These are the agents of the respective companies. Those with the white are the Labaika agency, and we have the Ebusia. So these respective agencies are here together to actually check in, and that is what is happening at this moment. Hitherto, the anxiety that heightened amongst these prospective programs following the delay in their flight currently is now lessened, because the flight scheduled for yesterday, which was the 14th of August, due to certain challenges, had to delay. And so today, marking the 15th of August, according to the communications director of the Hajj board, we're talking of Dr. Sadiq Ahmed, told me that today the Greater Accra, which is the final airlifting or the activity or the bout for the program or the pilgrimage, is taking place. Now, in other parts of the region, we're talking of Tamale, it has seen 10 bouts of airlifting, where we had on 12th of August, we had 3 airlines. We had, 3 flights. On 13th, we had 2. On 14th, which is on 11th, we had 3 more, and so these numbers continue. But in Accra currently, today they are going to have just 2 flights. We're talking of they leaving at about 7 or 5, between 5 p.m. to 7 p.m. in the evening, where we have just 15 minutes intervals among these flights. But currently, this is what is happening at the moment. We earlier wanted to speak with the communications director of the Hajj board, who we understand is in a meeting together with the head of the Hajj board, who is also on his way to the Jubilee House to meet with the vice president to find a way out to resolve this issue. But currently, what is happening here is that most of them are upset, because some of them are still waiting for their visas, while others are also in a very long queue waiting for their turn to check in while they wait for the flight to make the Holy Land tour to the holy city in Saudi Arabia. We're talking of Mecca and in Medina. Now, the situation here is, to some people, is very difficult, because some of them have been waiting without hearing any response. Some of them have been here, spent almost what they have with them, which they intended to travel with, to make some contributions or donations where necessary, here spending most of their money, and they were not really in the position to speak with us. And some of the organizers and the management on the board told us that we told the media that we are forbidden from speaking with any other programs or prospective programs here at the Hajj village. So currently the situation here is that the Greater Accra is going to see the final bout of the airlifting to the holy city in Mecca and in Medina. So at the moment, that is what we have here. Now, the flight that we know, the Ghana that we are having at a quota of 5,500 is what they are going to stick by. But obviously, there are going to be some that will be left behind. And according to the communications director, this is going to be as a result of some of them having their passport, that would have their passport being sent to the authority, that's the Saudi embassy, for further vetting, because it has to conform with the format of the Saudi embassy. And others too who had their agents delay in the payment or transfer of their monies. Now, just as previous years, it is still 15,000 Ghana cedis per trip, and so it hasn't changed. It's still the same. But what you see here behind me is the agents that will go first. We have the respective agents, like I said, the Mariaba, the Mariaba, we have the Ebusia, we have the Labaika, and following will be the protocols and then the prospective programs to the Holy City, which is expected to take place or to take full session on 19th of August to the 24th of August, where it will see, Saudi Arabia will see more than 3 million programs there to actually have that spiritual enlightenment or the satori that they so desire annually as this opportunity comes before them. So currently, this is what is happening here, Serwaa.
All right, thank you very much, Joshua. Nana Kwame Ayera, man on the ground. We hope that this is resolved and moving forward we get a proper plan on how these programs will be airlifted from Ghana. Away from that, government's 2019 budget is likely to be heavily constrained with revenue following the collapse of 7 banks within a period of 1 year. Now, Information Minister Designate Kojo Oponko at a press briefing a while ago said injecting 7.9 billion cedis to protect depositors' funds would severely affect government spending ahead of the 2019 budget. My colleague Kweku Teming joins us in the studio for more on this. Kweku, you were at the press briefing. What were the core issues that came up?
All right, so there were 2 things majorly discussed by the Information Ministry, which is currently being headed by Kojo Oponko, and that was the first, the various banks that had been collapsed and its effects on the nation as we speak, and then also issues surrounding the Ghana Football Association and matters arising. So these were the 2 core issues that came up.
Let's take it one after the other.
All right.
Let's start with the FIFA ban threats.
Absolutely.
What was the minister's response to that?
All right, so he says for some time now they've been deliberating with the officials of FIFA. In a while, I'm sure we'll hear his voice.
Yeah,
but
we can play that now. Let's play that now and then come back and have a conversation on that. What's the Information Minister Designate said on the FIFA threat?
Considering Ghana's preferred route to curing the problem of widespread corruption, considers that the petition before the courts currently, which is to liquidate the GFA, will be an act which in their opinion amounts to undue influence in the affairs of the GFA, and that will be contrary to Articles 14 and 19 of their statutes. Upon receiving this communication, the government of Ghana and FIFA have continued to engage. You'll recall that we started engagements with them right from the onset. We have continued to engage even at the highest levels, and the 2 parties, that's the government of Ghana and FIFA, have agreed to meet on Thursday, August 16, 2018 at the FIFA headquarters to discuss a number of issues. The focus of that discussion is to explore means by which the 2 parties, that's the government of Ghana and FIFA, can finalize arrangements on a mutually acceptable route for this final phase of resolving the observed infractions in football administration in Ghana. So a quick background. You'll recall that in a documentary that was aired on the 7th of June 2018 titled Number 12, When Greed and Corruption Become the Norm, some officials of the FA and administrators of football were caught on camera in an expose of widespread corruption, bribery, match fixing, and other forms of illegality. The GOG and FIFA were jointly of the view that the above listed infractions should be dealt with. On GOG's part, the first phase was securing a court injunction to set aside the executive of the FA. On FIFA's part, they also, among other things, temporarily banned the FA president. Then the 2 parties came together after we started engagement and set up a liaison committee which was to take over the management of some aspects of Ghana football or the administration of Ghana football pending a final and permanent resolution of the matter. Now, the government of Ghana, in its commitment to solve the problem permanently, believes that the FA as constituted currently is not fit for purpose because of the actions of the leadership and some members, and has consequently applied to the court to liquidate the FA altogether. The expectation is that a new body will be constituted after the liquidation to administer football moving forward. FIFA also agrees that a substantive solution must be found, but does not believe that it should be by liquidation of the GFA altogether. Indeed, both parties have taken the first joint step, as I mentioned, in setting up the liaison team led by Dr. Kofi Amoah to carry out some aspects of football administration. FIFA, in their earlier meetings with us, reaffirmed their commitment to zero tolerance for corruption in football, and they also expressed their commitment that they have no problem with Ghana enforcing our domestic laws generally. Now, what the two parties are currently not agreed on is the final route to take in solving the problem permanently. Whether we should go by liquidation or we should go by another route which achieves the same objective but does not end up in a position considered by FIFA as a breach of their statutes. For the avoidance of doubt, the government of Ghana does not share that position that FIFA puts out, but we are continuing to engage with them because we believe that we can still find a common ground to achieve the same objective. That is what this latest round of meetings that are slated for Thursday is supposed to conclude on. The government of Ghana assures the Ghanaian public and all stakeholders in football that it remains resolute in its efforts to clean up the unethical and criminal acts reported in Ghana football and will not renege on all legal routes to achieve this objective.
Kweku, so you were, I know you were there. I'm sure there are football journalists there as well.
Absolutely.
What were their reactions to what the information minister said?
All right, so it lies in two ways, and that is we are bent on dissolving the GFA. We will do that. I mean, there was one question from one of the journalists that if in case FIFA says we're not going to go by your modalities, he was clear in his language that look, Ghana is a sovereign state and we are going to go by our decisions. Yes, FIFA has a point and that's why we are engaging them. But should in case they are not going to accept our modus of dissolving the GFA, then we're going to go by our own means, and that includes Ghana being a sovereign state and a state in its capacity to take its own decisions. And I'm sure they are bent on going by their decision that the current GFA that is available is not fit for purpose.
But Kweku, to me, you are a businessman. I mean,
Absolutely.
you're not a sportsman. But I am, just to have, for the purposes of conversation, did it look like we have a plan? Do we have a plan? We want to dissolve the GFA, but do we have a plan? Because we've been going on and on about this for a while now. There have been several meetings with, delegation from FIFA, and we still don't know anything. I know that the sports minister has had several meetings with FIFA delegation.
Absolutely.
And I know that in all of that,
tomorrow there's going to be another one.
Exactly. I am particularly interested in who they will be going for that meeting with, because I know that the meetings they have been going have been without sports representatives. So what have they been discussing?
It is still going to be without the sports representation. It's strongly a government delegation, not to give you all the
and persons. These are people who do not know
I know
the
Attorney General is going to be in there. The sports minister, you can't say the sports minister does not know anything about sport. The sports minister
not
definitely
to say they don't know anything about sports.
But the GFA officials, they don't want to see them there. I'm not sure the GFA personalities, any of them is going to be there. Kojo upon Nkrumah's words is that they are not fit for purpose. And
so
because
what is
of
their
that,
plan?
Their plan is to liquidate, dissolve it, and get new officials in there. Absolutely, that's their plan.
But
and they are going ahead with that.
I mean, Kojo, I called you Kojo. We have an interim committee set up. What have they been doing? I mean, they should come out and tell us something. Did that come up at the press conference?
That didn't come up, but obviously he mentioned that that is the reason why they have put that body in place. Of course, that body also plays hand in hand with government. So, of course, anything they decide on is shared with governments.
So, is that to say that, I don't know if you have this information, is that to say that the meeting with the FIFA delegation tomorrow includes the members of the interim committee?
Not all of them. Maybe one of them will be on. But one thing I know for sure is that the Deputy Attorney General is going to be there. And when it comes to liquidation, probably they have the major hand to do that. The sports minister himself is going to be there in that meeting, and then one or two personalities that are supposed to be on also, Serwaa.
Right, interesting. Let's move away from sports and talk about your field business.
Absolutely.
The banks that have collapsed. What came up at that?
So Serwaa, just like you read a short while ago, we're looking at the 2019 budget coming up shortly. Now, the information minister categorically mentions that, look, as a nation, we didn't budget for this in our 2018 budget. We have had to inject a whopping 7.9 billion as a move to save depositors' funds alone. This money was not planned for 2018-2019. It was not in our budget. Having to inject this money in means there are consequences. So it may interest you to know that funds that we planned for spending, infrastructure growth, and was just around 6-something billion. This figure is more than that amount, and that's how serious it is, Serwaa.
Interesting, Kojo. That's all I'll say. Thank you very much for joining us. Okay. I'm sure you give us more details later this evening. Thank you. Kweku Teming is with our business desk and was at the press briefing by government to look at some issues that have come up, especially with the collapse of the 6 banks just in the period of 1 year. Away from that, the banter between the late Ebony Rain's dad, Mr. Kweku Kwarteng, and her record label, Raftown Records, continue to spur the issue. But what we are trying to find out is who really owns what. Now, after Raftown Records released that they have handed over every unreleased song of the late dancehall act to father of the 90s Bad Girl, well, he is still talking and he joins me in the studio. Thank you very much for joining us, sir. So,
thank you for having me.
Let me begin by asking you, how is life without your daughter, Ebony?
Well, hasn't been easy. We are coping anyway. Hasn't been easy, but we are managing, as it were.
Right. So can you tell us exactly what your role is in the management of your late daughter's career?
Before her demise, you mean, or something?
Before and after.
Oh, good. Before she left, actually, I was just being a father, supporting my girl in diverse ways. Financially, psychologically, all the ways that a father is supposed to support a child, I was doing that. And when she got demised, what happened was left with Bullet myself to see the way forward concerning the funeral and all that. And indeed, Bullet introduced me to 2 personalities like Kwame Akufu and Bolare.
Okay.
These were the 2 gentlemen that I was introduced to. They supported me financially towards the funeral, and that is it.
Have you, as it stands now, have you gained? Because I saw a few days ago, I saw that the management of Raftown Records said they have signed away all the songs, the unreleased songs by Ebony to you. Do you have full control of that now?
They've never given me anything yet. I read it too, but these are not with me as we speak. Maybe it's yet to come.
Right. Let me ask you this. We've been joined on the phone lines as well by Rex Omar. We'll go and talk to him shortly. But do you think your approach of publicly talking about this issue how do you think it affects the legacy of your daughter?
Publicly talking about what? I'm not too clear.
About your issues with
when a question is thrown at me, like you are doing now, you demanding answers to questions. And when I give the questions, I think I'm doing what I'm supposed to do. So that is exactly what is the case.
Well, you know, you have been accused of showing ingratitude to Bullet and his record label for everything that they have done for your daughter. How do you respond to that?
It's very unfortunate to hear Bullet say so. How have I been? No way. I'm doing what I'm supposed to do. What is due my child, I'm asking so I could take care of. That is all.
When your child was alive, did she get what was due her?
I don't think she did. Why? Because...
Did she ever tell you?
She told me severally.
Did you act on them?
I did. I called Bullet. I asked about some contract that my girl had no signature on. Yet, 50% of every money was taken aside by Bullet, claiming that he had a contract with Midas Touch or something. My girl was not too happy about that. So I requested for the contract. I just wanted to see the contract. It never came. And as I stand here, even before my lawyer, it hasn't come. So there was no anything like that. 50%, whooping 50%, was just to be put aside. And the 50% they share, according to the contract that I signed, that I was part of, was 40-60. Bullet takes 60, my girl takes 40 out of the 50% that is left. So that was the fact. Indeed, she wasn't treated fairly.
Interesting. Well, but some have also said that you appear to be more interested in monetizing your daughter's demise than protecting her legacy.
I've been myself since day one. I've been an Apoku. It couldn't be the case. It's far from that. This gentleman is only trying to tarnish my personality, my image, for reasons best known to him.
Have you always had a good relationship with him,
Of
even
course,
before
yes.
your daughter's death?
Why not?
So at what point did these issues start coming up?
When I requested for the contract, because I realized indeed my girl was worried. So I did request for the contract to see that was taking 50%. It didn't come. I felt bad. I managed to keep my cool because my girl would say, Nana, let's see, one day. So the beef started from that time because I wasn't happy. Nobody, including you, would be happy seeing your girl working in vain. And impression is created as if she's earning so much, but that was far from that. 75% was going to Bullet. 75%.
And
so
this was all when your daughter was alive?
That exactly from day one. But in the contract that I have copy, does not stipulate that. There's nothing like that in that. So
as it stands, what is the relationship between you and Bullet?
We were not bad until I read the news file last 3 days back. It wasn't the case.
But I'm asking, when was the last time you had a meeting with him?
The last time was when it was to give this royalties from iTunes that we met in my lawyer's office. That will be about, call it 3 weeks thereabout, or maybe a month ago.
Interesting. So, but beyond your regular issues with Bullet concerning fighting for what your girl really is due your girl, what have you done personally as Ebony's father to make sure that her legacy lives on? What have you done in your own little way?
Well, I'm doing my best. I'm still on that.
Can you share some of that with us?
A foundation is to be put in place to memorize this queen.
I thought that was an initiative by Bullet.
It couldn't have been, because even though he did mention that, but he said there was this 50,000 he was going to raise through the concert that they had. But lo and behold, at the end of the day, after the concert and everything, Bullet came home giving me 2,000.
2,000 from the
Yes,
concert. But how sure are you that that wasn't the amount of money that was raised from the concert? You think that more was raised and he kept that from you?
I'm not thinking that. I'm knowing that because I had gone to Casapreco. According to Bullet, it was Casapreco that arranged that.
Right.
They sponsored. Yet I went to them and they told me they had 60-something thousand.
I want you to hold on for me because I've been joined on the phone lines by Rex Omar, who is the chairman for Gamro. Thank you for your time, sir. So let me ask you this. I'm sure you have seen the fracas between Ebony's father and Roughtown Records. You are the chairman for Gamro. Who owns the rights to royalties in the case of the late Ebony, for instance? Is this the father or Roughtown Records?
Thank you very much. First and foremost, who wrote the songs of Ebony? If the songs were written by Bullet, then Bullet is the owner of those songs. There are two different things we are talking about here. Bullet's contract with Ebony as a performer or Roughtown's agreement with Ebony as a performer has nothing to do with Gamro. Gamro deals with royalties that come from the usage of the songs. So, if Bullet was the writer of those songs, Ebony was the performer of those songs, then Bullet gets royalties, and then based on what he agreed with Ebony, he pays Ebony. And then those songs that were written by Ebony, the monies will go directly to Ebony. That is, if Ebony ever assigned her rights to Gamro. So that is what, in terms of Gamro, that is what is done. So, apart from that, whatever agreement that was between Bullet and Ebony and all the things that you're talking about, that has nothing to do with Gamro.
Right, but you have seen everything that is happening. You talk about who wrote the songs that we are talking about here. Are we able to tell? I'll let you react to that shortly, sir. But Rex Omar, how are we able to tell that this songs we're talking about was written by Ebony if Roughtown Records comes and says that 99% of the songs were written by us and 1% was written by your daughter? How do we determine that?
Roughtown Records doesn't write songs. Individuals write songs. Companies don't write songs. So two things. Everybody knows that Bullet of Roughtown Records is a songwriter. So Bullet is a member of GAMRO. Bullet has a file at GAMRO and all the songs is written. We don't have any file in GAMRO that says that Ebony has written any songs. So in our records or on our records, Bullet is a member and he has songs that he has assigned to GAMRO. So that is the information we have. That is the documentation we have. So whether some of the songs that were sung by Ebony were written by Ebony and Ebony didn't come to declare to GAMRO, that's a different story. And then it's not too late. If the father has every evidence that the songs were written by Ebony, he can come and then assign those songs to GAMRO. But so far as we're concerned, Ebony, when she was alive, was not a member of GAMRO, but Bullet of Roughtown Records is a member of GAMRO.
All right, Rex Omar, hold on for me. Sir, let me come. Rex Omar, I'll let you, we have to move away from your position as the chairman of GAMRO and speak with experience now. Sir, you saw the release. I mean, I don't know if you want to react to that, but you saw the release from Roughtown Records. Can you manage your daughter's songs? Do you think that you can take it to the next level?
Well, I'm not a music person, but what I would do is I'll consult those who are into it, and surely we're going to get there.
Rex Omar, do you think that Ebony's father can do this work? I mean, from your experience, with he saying that he has no knowledge at all about music, and so what he's going to do is to consult. Can he do it?
I will not address Ebony's father directly about this whole thing, but I will say that from my experience, I think that I'm not happy the way this whole Ebony thing with Roughtown Records has been handled in terms of business-wise. And then also, there is an impression being created, and it is going to inform a whole lot of, look, the music business is a very difficult one, especially these days and age. I mean, this is a business. I believe that they should have separated the personal issues from the business aspect of it. There is no way anybody, including even any other record label in Ghana, can make much more impact with Ebony's unreleased songs than Roughtown. If business is supposed to be made, no matter what personal differences they have, I believe that all this media thing that is going on is not healthy. It is even going to get people angry. So if Mr. Kwarteng could have sat down, or even if he had looked for some lawyers to sit with Bullet, he as a person should stay away from this whole thing. He's not a business person, as he himself said. He doesn't know about this game.
All right, Rex Omar, I want you to hold on for me. Sir, would you want to, I saw that you were shaking your head. Would you want to react to that?
Yes, Rex Omar is saying something. I didn't suggest that. Was Bullet who came up with the release, the press release. And I'm not going to beg a Bullet for anything. That I will not do. Rest, I will not do that. Because I don't know where I went wrong. What is the basis going to beg Bullet to reconsider his own statement? Now, I'm not too sure I'm going to do that. Not at all. Why must I do that? So therefore, even if the Queen's songs are not going to come any longer, may her soul rest in peace. I prefer that than to go to Bullet and beg Bullet. Bullet would say to me that, through Nanahima, I'm somebody today. I would have appreciated if he came to me to beg rather. Irrespective of his position, his contribution to making the Queen songs, as it were, blow up or something.
Don't you feel, let me ask, don't you feel that we can put emotions aside and deal with this issue?
I'm always there. Bullet comes to my place. I don't know his place, but he usually comes to my house. He does. He comes there. So if he's ready, but he's made a statement, I think if we should rescind that, I'm all there. Like I'm saying, that it's not about me trying to be difficult or something. No, I'm not a music person, like I've said. I'm not. So there is nothing that would, as it were, push me to go into it when I'm even not ready. But then, this man, for good reasons, because why did I go wrong? I would have wished even he contacted me that this is what I have, and that I'm coming on radio, or I'm coming on air. He never did that. It took me by surprise.
I'll come back and pick your final thoughts. But Rex, moving on, what should artists and managers learn from all of this that has happened?
Yes, I think people, both artists and managers and record labels in Ghana, must understand this game. I can be 100%, and I'm 100% aware that both parties, Rocktown Records and the artist herself, they went into these things based on passion and emotions and then whatever, but real business contracts and whatever was not taken care of. I mean, at the end of the day, even if they signed a contract, how was the contract prepared? I mean, was Ebony represented by a lawyer? How did they meet? How did they go about this whole thing? This is what goes on in Ghana. So this is a lesson to all of us, those who are setting up record labels, those artists who are jumping, looking out for record deals. And then also, you know, I think that if proper contract was signed, was Mr. Kwarteng the manager of Ebony? If Mr. Kwarteng wasn't the manager of Ebony, and then Mr. Kwarteng is a father of Ebony, did he know prior to Ebony's contract? Did he go through the contract? Was it a contract? Was there a contract? When Ebony was alive, how much did he know about the business relationship between Ebony and Rocktown Records? All these things are lessons that need to be learned. But the little advice I'll give is let emotions calm down. Let us stop from this media stuff, because the same media that is going to sell Ebony's next album, if they are ever going to be released anyway. So let tensions calm down, and then this media war must stop, because it's not good for the industry. It's not good for Rocktown Records. It's not good for Ebony's, may her soul rest in peace. It's not good for Mr. Kwarteng. Let's just stop this media thing, and then calm down tempers and see how far we can go.
All right, thank you very much. Rex Omar is the chairman for GAMRO. Mr. Kwarteng, will you let emotions aside moving forward?
Emotions not attached. As I speak with you, I'm cool. Trust me.
So moving forward, what are you going to do now?
I'm waiting till he brings the songs and all that. That is with him, like he's already said, and see.
And if it doesn't come?
It should come.
You're ready for it?
No, yes. Why not? He said so. If he resents his decision and call me, come over, I said, I've had a change of mind. So be it.
All right, thank you very much for joining us.
You know, what brought about all this? I wish you asked this question. You never did.
What brought about all of this?
Amazing.
Okay, can you tell me that in 2 minutes? I mean, a minute, actually.
In a minute. During the Oyeme's tribute concert, the last time that they had before her burial, there was this amount that was accrued, was gained from the concert. That was 660-something thousand. The sponsors, the Kasapreku, took and gave 39,626 to Bullet and the dance hall queen. Bullet was not in town. I was trying to fetch him. He told me he was out of the country. He never issued me, he never gave me any idea of the check, even though the check had been given to him. The Kasapreku people gave me a photocopy of the check that stated the amount. When he came, he went 1212. He came to me the other time, says, after deductions and everything, what I have for you is 2,000. I never challenged that. I never did. I took that in good faith, because this is what he presented. Calculations here and there. And because he brought this, I had no basis whatsoever to challenge what I was to. I never said anything. I was only asked the question that the funeral over there by the, what do you call that, the concert, how much were you giving as Ebony representation? our representative, and was like, oh, 2,000. Here's where I went wrong. That is my word. I'm not being greedy for anything. I've been myself, I've been me. I'm not being greedy for anything. But I strongly believe the fact that what is due the Ebony should go to her. No two ways about that. Because she worked so hard for. She was managed. Somebody's managed her. That person has, or they have their percentage equally. Ebony deserves.
All right. The breakdown, you talk about the 2,000 cedis that was given you out of the 39,000 something. Yeah. Does it make sense to you? If you look at it, I mean, well, what were the major expenses
okay, for that? If you will allow me a minute. It says mobile toilet. He rented 20, which cost. But
you talk about, before you even break down, you talk about getting financial assistance for the funeral from Bolare,
yes,
our CEO, and some other person. What happened to that money? Is that all captured in there?
No, that is different from this.
Okay.
This is very different from what I had.
Okay, okay.
So this one, the mobile toilet was 20, according to Bullet. His own handwriting anyway, was 4,000. Venue was 5,000. Barricade was 3,000. AC tent was 6,400. Backdrop was 2,000. Generator was 1,500. Fuel was 800. Media solely was 4,000. That goes to you anyway. Artist security.
No, that doesn't go to me.
No, not you.
Okay.
But according to Solly, I don't know media. Well, artist security. 200 each, 5 persons.
Is that to say that the artists that performed were paid that night?
That is what he's telling. That is what is written here, and I'm coming. I'm coming here.
Okay.
So I never said he has cheated me. I only told them what he gave, and this is what we have here: advert production, TV studios, videos, 2,100. Advert promo, 18,300.
But I have a question on the media solely, because it is the media houses that covered the event for free. We gave airtime. You didn't bother to find that out?
It wasn't the case. I did, because honestly, I was. At that time, my dear, you will understand, I had no chance. I had no idea.
All right, let's move on.
So media advert promo was 18,300. Advert production was 2,100. Graphic designer was 1,000. Miscellaneous was 500. I'm coming. Adam, the artist, took 3,000.
For what?
For performing on that night.
Okay.
Keche, 3,000. Raskuku, 1,500. Captain Planet, 2,000. Coded, 1,000. R2Bs, 3,000. Rahel or whatever, 1,000.
Raquel.
Okay. Episode, 700. Car songs, 1,000. Dancers, 2,000. And the total was 18,200. MCs, DKB, 1,000. On him, OG, or him's best friend, took 500. Joe Crack took 500. The total was 2,000.
We don't have time. We'll have to end the conversation.
Serwaa have 500.
That's a very okay. You. Let me give you the 30 seconds left.
Okay.
Wrap
Yes.
it up.
Serwaa 500. Tag 500. Brown 500. Taylor 500. Total was 2,000.
What did the Taylor show?
I don't know. Godwin 800. That is coordinators. Steve 800. The total was 1,600. So the video was 1,000. Ushers 200 each. 4 ushers 800. Military police 7,000. Police 2,000. Grand total was 34,600 Ghana cedis. The amount spent, and the total amount that was given, the check, was 39,268.68. So the agreement between Bullet and my late daughter was 60-40. So the 60-40 in application here got me 1,864. That was my share. But when Bullet came home, he says he wants to dash me. He wants to dash me 200 Ghana in addition. So was 2,000. That is what I said. I never ever
What did you say?
I said, when the question was thrown at me, how much was given to me? And I said, was 2,000. And of course, it was 2,000.
That's what he doesn't like.
No, I'm too good a person to lie. What for?
No, I'm asking, and that's what upsets Bullet, basically.
I should think so. I don't know, but I should only believe so.
You're carrying this around. Are you going to do anything with it? Are you going to investigate it?
Well, as it stands now, trust me. Anyway, it's only time will tell.
All right. Thank you. I'm afraid we have to end the conversation here, but thank you very much. And I pray and hope that you find the answers that you're looking for. Mr. Kwarteng, the father for the late dancehall queen, Ebony Reigns. But that will be all for the bulletin. Thank you very much for watching. My name is Serwaa Amihere. On behalf of the entire production team, led by Red One, Karim Dini Osman, have a good afternoon. See you at 3:25.
We're live, man, as always, 1:30 to 3 p.m. Mondays to Fridays.
It is Rhythms Interactive,
where our focus is music.
What's up, man? This is the coolest kid in Africa, and that's to see Mr. Strings and Bling.
And this is your girl, Tiwa Savage. You're watching Rhythms Live. Don't touch the dial.
I got flair in me.
Which can't show my way, not get muzzles to show.
It's time for the bars, and let's talk entertainment.
BET is not going to be the measurement of how influential Ghana music has been.
Rhythms 101 right here on GH1 TV with your girl Regina Van Helvet.
Jesus Christ.
What you have for? Oh, Regina.
I'm there right now with the BJ Mixmaster, DJ Split. Hello,
I remember pre speed, CPP they catch you green streets.
Rapper dot of your flow. The boys and I do your tiny shell at your